Having your daily, weekly, monthly tasks is very important, because obviously if we don't have any tasks to do, then what are we going to do? We all have our tasks that we must get done. But how can we better plan and manage our tasks so that we don't get too overwhelmed? Because something that I've combated in the past is trying not to get overwhelmed with the amount of tasks or things I get given. So I'm going to tell you step by step what I have done, or also a strategy I figured out that I thought about that could work for you. I've never used this strategy, but it could work. But the first strategy is to make sure, the first way of knowing what your tasks are, you need to make sure you write them down. If you're not writing the task down, well, it's going to make it worse, because then you're going to think about those things. You're going to, especially if you're a more visual learner, which I've talked about more in depth in a previous video. So if you're a visual learner, write the task down and go, okay, I've got these tasks to do. The main reason for writing it down is, if you're not gonna write it down and you forget things really easily, or you can't store it in your head as good, well, that's gonna make you more stressed out, because then you're gonna think about the task, but it's just not gonna get done, because you're like, oh, I have to get this task done. Oh wait, hold on, wasn't there another task I had to get done? Oh no, what do I have to do now? What's this other thing? Hold on a second. So we want to try avoiding that overwhelming feeling of, forgetting what you're going to do that day or week, and try to get more of an order, so you know, well, what are you doing? That's the first step into knowing what tasks you must be doing today, tomorrow, next week, or important things you need to get done. So this strategy that I thought about actually stems off of this. So when I was a kid, I used to not be able to read properly, because obviously all the words on the paper would all get bunched up and I couldn't properly read the words. Obviously at the time I was actually diagnosed with dyslexia, not autism. Obviously my autism didn't come out until a bit later, but anyway, pretty much we used to put like a sheet of paper on the whole sentence of the book. So say there's one sentence at the top of the book, we'd put like a sheet of paper on it, and then I'll be able to just read the top sentence. So what I was thinking about doing is, say you have tasks to do throughout the day. Say it's like, okay, 8 o'clock, I'm going to start this task, right? So for example, you write down all your tasks the morning before, and you actually put a sheet of paper on all the other tasks, so you can't see them. You go, okay, this has to be done now. This is the first thing that must get done. And hopefully, maybe because you're not seeing the other words, it might make you less overwhelmed. I don't know, it could work. But I know it worked. I know it worked for me when I was reading like books and all that. So maybe that's, or a bee just went past. So that's something that you could test out, see if that works for you, because then that can give you more of an order of, okay, this is the task I have to get done, and then all the other tasks, it doesn't matter. If you're getting overwhelmed about simple tasks, this can be a problem, because that's going to affect your everyday life. We don't want you getting overwhelmed with simple tasks. The less overwhelmed you can become, the better your brain will perform, the better you'll feel if you're not as overwhelmed. So another way is you can actually prioritize the things you're doing. So for example, say, I don't know, you've got your rego due in the next 3 days. Well, you know that's number one priority, because if you don't get that rego done, if you don't do the new registration, well, you're not going to be able to drive, which means you can't get places, which means if you're going to school, or I don't know, you're going to uni, or you're going to work, well, you're not going to be able to get there. That's a big problem. That would be priority one. That's a stressful problem. That is something to maybe be a bit overwhelmed about, and that's okay, because hopefully if you get overwhelmed about that and you just think about that problem, okay, I need to get this rego done, then hopefully that will help you take action, as long as you're not thinking about the other things. So for example, if it's like registration and, I don't know, cleaning your car, well, if you don't have registration, you're not going to be able to go to the car wash and clean your car. So make sure you go and get registration first, for example. So the 3 key points to take away from this is, number 1, make sure you're writing your tasks down. So make sure you're writing down what you got to do for the next day. So for example, the day before, write the tasks down. Step 2, make sure you're covering your tasks, so you know, okay, this is the first task I've got to do. Okay, what's the next task? And then step 3, you can also prioritize the task. So you could put it in an order for you to do the next day if you really want to. But also depending on what needs to be done. It's a very broad spectrum. So, but yeah, number 3 is prioritize what needs to be done. If your rego is due, out of 10, for example, say 1 is not important, 10 is important, well, that would be like a 9 or an 8, because if you can't drive to work, well, then you can't earn money, then you're stuffed. So, okay, I need to do the rego tomorrow. So yeah, I hope this helps. Hopefully this was a short video. This is what I wanted. I want to try to shorten my videos a little bit, but I'm going to work on that. So I hope you liked my video, and like and subscribe, and have a look at my other content. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.